There's a lot of criticism in the media attached to the term last minute resistance, among
Mm,
like many other terms like target, as you mentioned.
mm.
Do you think a new term like cold feet would be better in place of it, even if LMR had good intentions behind the
Sure,
term?
sure. Ablaze and I have talked about, my trepidation with using the term LMR. But what I think the here's how it works. If you're good at pickup, you won't get LMR. You'll have handled last minute resistance in multiple ways before you even get to it. Before she's in bed with you, wondering whether she's gonna want to sleep with you or not tonight. Uh, really, the 7 hour rule goes a long way. If you try to bed a girl in 3 hours, she's not ready. But 7 hours, she's ready. What's the difference? Getting to know you, right? Getting comfortable with you. That that I think is going to take the pressure off her. I'd rather, like I said, hang out with 5 people. Let's try this again. I would rather hang out with a woman for 5 hours in 5 different locations than for 5 hours in one location. Why? More memories. When she's lying in bed at the end of the night with me and she's wondering, do I really know him? She'll be flooded with memories of social interactions that have taken place. So she had a chance to see what I'm like in front of others. You know, can she show me off? Am I presentable in public? That has to be demonstrated to her. So I'll demonstrate that to her prior to trying to get her into bed. You know, last minute resistance is there as a fail safe for her. If a girl says no, no means no. Just everyone has to know no means no. I mean, it's very simple to roll off. I'm known for rolling off, and you can't be chased unless you roll off. You got to roll off the set to be chased. I give this as my example. Here she is. Here you are. You go in and you just game her. She can't chase you because you're not leaving. You have to say, oh, let's agree to disagree, like Neil Strauss would do, right? Return to another group. And there she is alone going, oh, we were in great conversation. And now he said, let's agree to disagree. Let, let me see what's up with the group over here. And she chases you. You cannot be chased unless you structure the opportunity to be pursued. Different game plan, different way of playing your entire game. You are the prize rather than she is the prize.
100%.
Let me jump in real quick. So, uh, I'm not a big fan of the term LMR, last minute resistance either, but it's worth noting that throughout an interaction, throughout the courtship process, there may be moments of resistance. So understanding resistance and trying to learn to dissipate it, right? See, LMR kind of implies that the woman's about to put herself in a compromising position and there's resistance there, and we're to overcome or plow through that resistance. We don't want to get that resistance in the first place, but should it come up, we want to dissipate resistance. We don't want to push through it. We want to figure out how can we make the woman comfortable so that the resistance dissipates. And that resistance can come out at many different stages and phases through the process. So, if you think that guys that study LMR and resistance and, figure these concepts out, if they're creepy, imagine the guys that don't learn about it. The guys that don't learn about LMR and similar concepts, that's when you really can have a bad situation if a guy's too brazen, brazen faced, trying to overcome resistance. So those are my thoughts on it. It's entirely understandable that people were concerned about that term. And I think Mystery would agree. If he could go back in time, would he word it differently? Would he come up with a different term? Would he explain it differently? I mean,
I wouldn't I wouldn't call it cold feet, but that's exactly what it is, Ice. You're absolutely right. It's handling cold feet, right? We need to come up with the term. We're smart guys. We'll come up with the term. Better than
reluctance,
LMR.
right?
Yeah, last minute reluctance? No. Resistance, reluctance, it's still LMR.
I'll leave you guys to think about it because
Fair,
on I
fair.
we've been working on this for a few years actually on our website. gameglobal.net/glossary, we have a section called toxic terminology, or terminology that kind of needs to be fixed. And last minute
Yep.
resistance is on there. Target is
Is
on
it?
there. And we
Yeah.
suggest woman instead. And
Yeah.
for last minute resistance, there's cold feet. And there are various other ones. Oh yeah, isolation instead of isolation, because that could seem like you gotta isolate her to kidnap her kind of thing.
But you're still in the
Obviously
club.
that's not the case. Yeah, but
Yeah,
still,
you're
like
still in
the alternative suggested was simply one-on-one, so it's reframed that you're not isolating her, but you're simply being one-on-one,
Yep.
individual to individual.
Here's another one for you. I'm not a big fan of the term compliance. I like reciprocity much better. Is she
Okay.
reciprocating? Is she reciprocating? But again, compliance isn't meant in a derogatory way. I've known Mystery for 8 years now. He's not demanding the woman comply with his way of doing things. He's looking for
Comply or face
reciprocity.
the consequences. I understand now. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a fair point. I didn't consider that one actually.
What's
Uh,
interesting is a lot of the people that have concern with the language that we're using are, I believe that a lot of these people have more in common with Venusian artists than they realize. We're studying social dynamics, as are they.